If you're looking for MT or someone to grind part of the game for you, contact Cliff2_3 on Twitter. He's one of the most trusted and reliable people in the community. You won't regret it. Here we go. So guys, I've been wanting to drop this video for a while, but I've been quite tough on 2K recently, and I actually wanted to wait until they did this right before I commented on it, because I think to really understand what I'm saying, you need to look at 2K when they do this right to get a full grasp of it. So this video is about Limited, the concept, how it's kind of been looked at throughout the year, the effort 2K have put into it, the potential in the game mode. And a lot of this is going to be positive. But there's one thing that 2K need to do consistently to make this the game mode it really should be, and that is really, really enjoyable. Before we get into that, guys, as always, please like and subscribe. We are really close to 1,000 subs. Thank you to everyone who's dropped a sub even in the last week. You've got us that much closer. The podcast is dropping tomorrow. We have Killzaboy on the podcast as well, so we take video questions for the podcast. If you've never caught it before, go check the last one. 2 weeks ago, we had DBG on it as well. Just send in a video question to allteampodcast@gmail.com, and we'll play the video clip on the podcast and respond to your questions. But let's get into today's video. So, I want to talk about Limited, like, as a whole for the entire year, because when they first announced it, I really didn't care about it, to be honest. It didn't sound like something interesting to me. And I didn't play it at all in the first season. I think maybe a little bit in the second season. The third season is when I really got into it and started to enjoy it. And to me, right now, it is the most enjoyable 5v5 game mode. Like, Unlimited is so broken. I've got countless videos on that you can go and watch. But Unlimited is so broken. Limited is like, it's a relief in the game, to be honest. You know, it's no consequences. You can load in. If the game's not going the way you want to, you have a choice then. You sweat through it, or you can quit out with no consequences. And the whole concept of having, like, different players each week and using players that you never usually use, I think it's just great. I think it's really, really good. And I think a lot of the community feels the same way. I put up a question the other day on social media just saying, like, what's your favorite game mode? I asked the same thing in my stream the other day. And the vast majority of people said it was Limited. And the reason it's Limited is because of the algo, skill-based matchmaking, all of this stuff, the tiers, just how sweaty Unlimited is. It's a real relief to have a game mode where you can play 5v5 and actually just enjoy it. And each game is kind of a standalone game. Now, one of the issues people have had with Limited, and I've certainly been one of those people this year, is just the RNG concept of it. Like, it would be great if you just had to win X amount of games, or, you know, there was a threshold and you would be guaranteed to get the ring and all of this, but it's just not the way it is. Now, I'm not going to sort of go in too hard on this. I had a week where I had to win 27 games. We've had people sending questions to the podcast where they've had similar experiences, and it is frustrating. But actually, as time has gone on, I've tended to play 20 to 30 games of Limited every weekend, regardless of when I get the ring. And a big reason for that is the secondary rewards that are often up for grabs, like packs and things like that. I'll usually chase this stuff every weekend. There's a diamond contract there every weekend. I think a lot of people don't know this. There's a diamond contract, diamond consumable, and diamond shoe pack available in Limited every single weekend. So for like the last 6 or 7 weekends since I figured that out, I've literally played on until I've got those rewards. So there's an incentive to keep playing. So I'm not as bothered as I was before when I just had to get the ring. If the ring was the only decent reward out there, then yeah, I would be frustrated as well playing 27 games. And the main reward in the game, it's not always the best, is it? Like, I mean, let's be honest, it's kind of a running joke now. This is how it plays out every single time. We find out the reward on the first day of the season. It looks like a really good reward. Shout out to Rashard Lewis, Russell Westbrook, Jaylen Brown, Aaron Gordon. They always just seem like good rewards. But by the time they're released, because there's like a 6-week gap sometimes between that card being announced and the card actually being released, it always ends up underwhelming and outdated by the time you get there. So it does feel like a little bit of a troll. It doesn't really seem worth it. But again, I don't mind because I find Limited enjoyable to play. It's actually a bit of a relief to play a game mode where I'm not sweating for the reward and there isn't that much on the line. Like, Limited is a mode that everyone will get done at a weekend if you really want to. It doesn't matter what your skill level is. Even if you're brand new to the game, as long as you keep playing, you'll ultimately get the ring. And I do like that fact. And like I said, I'm just not fussed about the rewards, although this season is a little bit different. And today is actually a really important day for Limited. And again, it's why I'm dropping the video today. Today, 2K, and this season really, I'm going to ignore last week. But if you take today and the reward, you take that combination from this season, This is what limited should be. They've absolutely nailed it. Now, if you watch a podcast, people were excited about Elgin Baylor when he was announced, and although I personally think he's going to be outdated, having that X and base on very quick is no joke. He is going to be a usable card for sure. If he could run point guard, he'd be better. That's the old cliche at the moment. Everyone needs to run point guard to be better. But Elgin is a decent card, and we know he's going to be a decent card because of his jump shot. So although he will be outdated if he isn't already, and there will be other cards that are 6'9", 6'10" with similar jump shots, Elgin is a card I'm actually going to use, and I know I'm going to use it. Whether I use it in Unlimited or Limited, I don't know. If I use it in TTO, I know it will be a fun card to use. So at the very, very worst, they've given us a really fun card to use in TTO or modes like that this season. But the real point of this video and what I really want to get into is the requirements. Now this week, the requirements are bang on. That's exactly what I expect from Limited. You've got to use all Hall of Fame players. They all have to be Hall of Fame. I love that. It really limits, like, you know, the mode limited. It really limits the players that we can use. You must use up to 3 Galaxy Opal players or higher, or you may use up to 3 Galaxy Opal players or higher. Again, it stops it being like an OP mode. It stops it turning into an unlimited. You know, you're running 3 Galaxy Opals. I think this squads are going to be fairly strong. I've won a couple of games already, and you're going to be running Pink Diamond kind of base, I guess. That's where we're going to be at. But again, it stops people running 10 Dark Batters, right? So it takes it away from Unlimited. And I think as the season goes on, it's fine to use sort of better and better cards. We don't need to be running Sapphires right now. Like, Pink Diamonds are pretty underpowered compared to Dark Matters. So that's fine. That's good. It's a good balance. Really good requirements. Again, really good theme, Hall of Fame players. It's going to get us using cards that we don't usually use. And again, like with the Galaxy Opal situation, it stops it being overpowered. It does limit the cards we can use. It does make our squads underpowered from what we would usually use. And again, when you put those things together, you're looking for Hall of Fame players that fit that criteria as well. So again, it really does limit what you can do and which cards you're prepared to use. So again, today we sit in a position where we've got a really good limited reward, something that's really worth playing for. We've got really good secondary rewards, and we've got really good requirements. Like, this is fun. This is a lot of fun. Like, this week, what they put together, I'm going to have a blast playing limited this weekend. I will play it for a while. I'm even thinking of streaming it. It is going to be a lot of fun. But the problem is, this is the exception. This week is the exception. Again, I told you I waited until they did this right so I could really get my point across about when they do it wrong. Because this week is so much fun. I'm genuinely excited about it. It's going to be an absolute blast. But then you start looking at previous weeks. And when I say it's the exception, we kind of get 1 in 5 weeks which is like this. It's the theme. Hall of Fame players is the theme. Most weeks we get just run a 90 overall. You could use 1 diamond, 1 pink diamond. Run a bunch of gold cards. Use a sapphire and 1 pink diamond. Use 1 card that's over a diamond. That is incredibly boring, 2K. Like, can we not come up with concepts like this on a weekly basis? Like, it feels like it's all led by what's happening in the real world. Obviously, we've got the Hall of Fame coming up, which is why, you know, they put this theme in. And the last really good weekend I can remember was the All-Star weekend where we could only use All-Star cards. Like, can't we do something every week that's like that? Like, you can put in the restrictions like you have, the Galaxy Opals, Pink Diamonds, whatever. Put in those restrictions so it doesn't turn into Unlimited. But you gotta be more creative. Like, you can't sit there and wait for something to happen in real life to put in some fun requirements into Limited. And the problem it causes is we basically got people running the same squad every weekend. So what should be a sort of casual mode where there's a lot of variety and we're being forced to use cards we don't usually use just becomes us just playing the same squad like every single game. Like, if you can only use a diamond, there's probably 3 diamonds that people are going to use. If you can only use a pink diamond, there's probably 3 or 4 pink diamonds that people are going to use. The restrictions are Hall of Fame players plus lineup restrictions. You get this huge variety of cards that are suddenly in play. And it makes it so much fun to actually build your squad, because this is one of the most fun things about Limited. You can kind of play around with your squad. Like, you might have an underpowered squad, you've got to find a way to balance it. You might have an OP squad and, you know, your team picks itself. But there should be a lot of fun in choosing the players that you use. And again, when they put in the lazy requirements like a 90 overall, you're just going to use your 6 best players and run bronzes off the bench. There's no fun in building the lineup. And again, you're just kind of running 5v5. It just becomes a glitched overall weekend where everyone's running their main starting 5. That's just not fun for anyone. I would love to see them open this up more, and if nothing happens IRL next week that gives 2K a theme, that they create a theme, whether that's just running Eastern Conference players or Western Conference players or players that have been to the conference finals. Maybe we have a week where you can't use players over the age of 24 or under the age of 30. I would love to see a week where we can't use players over 6'8", let's say, for an example, because, you know, you need center eligible players, but, you know, your Wes Unselds of the world can run at center. And again, maybe a week where we can't use players under 6'3". I would just love to see just way more creativity and way more fun, like, in the week-to-week requirements. And as I said, 2K have demonstrated it this week, so they get a high five from me. This is a W. I love this weekend. It's really, really good. There's so many reasons to play Limited this weekend. The rewards are good, the main reward is good, but most importantly, the requirements are absolutely goated. I absolutely love this. Please do more of this, 2K. Don't wait for the world to kind of make content for you. You make it. Put it in there every weekend. Next week, let's get something equally as good. You might not have something IRL going on to kind of set this up for you, but you've got a lot of people there that know basketball. I know you have. Just get one of them to come up with a really good idea and stick it on the limited mode next week. Let's do it. Let's make this fun. The final thing I want to touch on is making limited a week-long mode. I think this is something that everyone has spoken about. Everyone wants to happen. I've had this conversation numerous times. I've never heard anyone say it's a bad idea. If they can make this fun, like requirements like this, we could easily have 7 days of fun playing this mode. And I know it takes away from the RNG concept because 2K want us, you know, hammering this game mode at the weekend. And that's obviously a financial strategy that they've got. But if they can just loosen that up a little bit and we could have 7 days of fun with it, I honestly, I would love to start a series based around Limited. The only reason I can't is because it's every weekend. That's the only reason I can't do it. But Limited is my favourite mode. It is. There's a lot of good things about it. And when they get it right, everything about it is fantastic. So that's the video, guys. Please like and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed the video. Next video I drop is a podcast tomorrow. Get your questions in, allteampodcast@gmail.com. And until next time, thanks for watching, guys.